Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we take a look at COVID weekly testing in the United States of America, and how President Biden has gotten it wrong with mandatory COVID weekly testing for all businesses with 100 or more employees. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell. Welcome back. President Biden recently unveiled an action plan that has a solution to the corona pandemic. President Joe Biden on Thursday, 9th of September 2021, announced bringing a new federal vaccine requirement, which would apply to as many as 100 million Americans with an attempt to increase COVID-19 vaccination and to curb the Delta variant. The president, while addressing media and the entire world at the White House, sharply castigated over 80 million Americans who have refused to be vaccinated despite months of incentives and availability of vaccines. This attempt by the president has been greatly criticized by the majority of U.S. citizens. Unions and members have been treading a serious line over the recent policy stating that the laborers and workers should have a right in COVID-19 vaccine mandate policy. Many citizens think that this attempt by Biden would take a toll on the United States economy, and would also affect public perceptions of how President Biden is handling the outbreak pandemic. Michael Mina, an epidemiologist with the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, while addressing the situation said, "We're going to have major problems. We're not going to have the production capacity." He added, "We're going to get logjammed." Union chiefs and Republican leaders believe that President Biden is going too far in his endeavor to muscle workers and private companies, and at the look of things, a certain sign of legal problems would arise. The president, while recently speaking, said, and in quotes, "We've been patient. But our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us." The president pointed out that the unvaccinated minority are causing critical damage, and they are. The president directing the U.S. Department of Labor to ensure all private businesses, with 100 or more staff, to mandatory test weekly, or provide genuine proof of a negative coronavirus test would certainly affect a lot. Healthcare workers, about 17 million receiving federal benefits, will also undergo the same requirements. These rules has triggered a backlash among many Republicans, who critically argued that the government should not have any role in the health decisions of any individual. Henry McMaster, South Carolina governor, said in a statement that Biden and the radical Democrats have declared war against capitalism and thumbed their noses at the Constitution. President Biden is also signing a mandatory executive order to get the vaccination for contractors who partner with the federal government. The executive order also covers employees of the executive. Biden's blunt message is as simple as saying that the time for government executive mandates has arrived. The time for pampering and sweet-talking is over, and the previous attempt of the government cajoling citizens to take the vaccine is over. Biden's approach to mandatory tests would cause more harm than good, and many citizens believe Donald Trump would have handled this pandemic better. As it stands, there's simply insufficient test facility available to do the testing that's being called for. A major problem is that most test manufacturers are not keeping up with the recent rise in demand. Though the president believes that continued U.S. health and corona crises are squarely at the feet of the unvaccinated 25% of the public, Republicans and politicians who he said were actively working to undermine the fight. President Biden has specified that his recent vaccine policy and orders were not about personal choice or freedom, but Americans have viewed the order as a forced decision between vaccination and employment. Though the mandates might increase the number of vaccinated citizens, it will lead to a bitter debate already rife with high political tension. Why would the president force vaccine on people against their will? Does this mean workers that refuse to be vaccinated will lose their jobs? President Joe Biden is totally getting it wrong. Just about 2 months ago, President Biden declared the nation's independence from the coronavirus. Though over 208 million citizens have at least one dose of the corona vaccines, the United States is still witnessing about 300% more infections in a day, about 2.5 times more patient hospitalizations, and close to twice the amount of deaths compared with the same period last year. This indicates a failed government with failed policies. "We are in the tough stretch, and it could last for a while," President Biden said of the present state of the corona outbreak. "Should we wait forever for a good solutions regarding this pandemic?" Overall, President Biden's rule requires that about 2/3 of entire U.S. workers would be vaccinated. Other orders that President Biden made include: hospitals' weekly pace of shipments of free monoclonal antibody treatment will increase. Defense Production Act will henceforth boost the creation of fast at-home testing kits. A serious fine for any passenger on airplanes who refuse to wear a nose mask. Areas witnessing surges in corona cases will receive healthcare workers as they will be deployed. Despite measures put by President Biden, deaths are still increasing in most areas. However, some areas with low jab figures are recently recording record high infection rates. The path ahead, even with the Delta variant, is not nearly as bad as last winter, President Biden added in his recent speech. Biden also decisioned to double federal fines for any airline passenger who fails to put on their masks on flights or keep face covering criteria on federal property, and also comply to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guideline is vehemently criticized. Should citizens be fined heavily for not complying to the policy? An affordable amount would do, but citizens paying double fines is totally not a right approach. President Biden stated that the federal government will work efficiently to raise the supply of tests, and that the White House has considered concessions from key retailers including Kroger, Walmart, and Amazon, and to sell testing kits at price beginning as soon as possible. President Biden also demands vaccinations or proof of a negative test for entry into large arenas and entertainment venues. We certainly do hope he keeps the promise of sending more federal support to aid schools. The requirement for large companies to mandate vaccinations or weekly testing for employees will be enacted through a forthcoming rule from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration that carries penalties of $14,000 per violation. An official said to the president said. Though President Biden has not stated when this would commence, but we hope workers would have enough time to get the vaccine. The fact that President Biden's order would require that large companies provide paid time off for vaccines is not welcomed by many. However, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services will extend the vaccination requirement stated earlier this summer for nursing home staff. Other healthcare platforms include dialysis centers, hospitals, and home health agencies. Biden's decision for contractors and executive branch workers would exempt workers seeking medical or religious exemptions from vaccination, according to Jen Psaki, White House press secretary. Contractors and federal workers will have about 75 days to be fully vaccinated. Federal workers who fail to comply will be referred and questioned by their agency's human resources departments for counseling and discipline. We would like to be a model to other businesses and organizations around the country, Jen Psaki added. Walmart, the U.S. largest private employer, stated in late July that it will ensure that managers and workers at its headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas who travel in and within the U.S. be vaccinated against COVID-19 by October 4. Though Walmart company ended short of requiring shots for its frontline workers. CVS Health started in late August that it would need certain employees who associate with patients to be vaccinated by the end of October. These include care managers, nurses, and pharmacists. Biden's order would fail as what's needed is an adjustment in mindset for many people. The American Federation of Government Employees, which is the biggest union of federal employees, stated that while it seriously encourages vaccinations, workers must have an opinion in new mandates affecting them. Put simply, workers deserve a voice in their working conditions, the national president Everett Kelly stated. We expect to bargain over this change before implementation, and we urge everyone who can get vaccinated as soon as they can do so. Over 177 million citizens are fully given vaccines against the coronavirus, but confirmed and known cases have shot up recently to an average of 140,000 per day, and an average amount of about 1,000 deaths, according to the data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. President Biden's measures and order are certainly not doing enough, as there is an increase in spread and severe illness and death among those that are yet to be fully vaccinated. We do hope President Biden's government, policy, and order are not causing more harm than good. Do you think President Biden's measure is in the right direction to curb or reduce the corona spread, or are you with the majority that believes he has failed in his recent path? Kindly comment what you think in the comment section below. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We hope you enjoyed our content, as we look forward to having you here again.